you just can't do that, you know, and especially, again, I know that
attempted murder, and they wanted me to be an accomplice to it. They were asking me to take money to come onto the DAZN and be.
I'm probably disappointed. I'm probably gutted. I'm. Something has to change, but I don't know who knew what. I'm thinking, why don't it just come out now then? You know, I knew, and I'm hearing everybody else is saying they've only just found out.
Eddie Hearn has finally turned on Conor Benn after a third failed drug test. You can hear the frustration in every word. This isn't a mistake anymore. It's a complete collapse. 3 violations? There's no coming back from that. Hearn now sounds like someone trying to justify the unjustifiable. Conor hasn't just stumbled. He has embarrassed himself and pulled every major boxing authority into a cloud of suspicion.
Sister question for him and the hearing and the scientists. When you see the levels and you see the results from this test, as Team Eubank here, you might have a different opinion. But right now, you know, that
Eddie's tone makes it clear that absolute chaos has exploded just before the rematch. This isn't something he knew weeks in advance. The news dropped on him only minutes ago. The commission, the legal teams, and the media are all hammering him for answers right now. Conor's third failed test hasn't just paused the fight. It has destroyed the entire hype and preparation in one brutal moment.
Boxing Board of Control aren't. So we have to speak with them, deal with the legal situation and see where it lands. And this is quite fresh. Obviously, I don't even think it's 30 minutes. I think it's more like 10 or 15 minutes since that. And, you know, we'll see.
Chris Eubank Jr. sounds fed up. And honestly, who can blame him? This entire disaster unfolding right before the rematch makes it feel like Conor ruined his own event. Eubank's spotless drug testing record only makes the situation look worse. While he's clean, Benn's repeated violations come off as irresponsible, reckless, and downright embarrassing.
Shame, man. You know, it's a shame that we have something now that kind of muddies the story, if anything. It's a shame.
Duke McKenzie isn't holding back at all. He calls Conor Benn's behavior a disgrace not only to his own career, but to the legacy his father built. For McKenzie, this is like spitting on the reputation of a real fighter, a direct insult to the sport. With every failed test, Benn isn't just hurting himself. He's staining the family name and disrespecting generations of boxing tradition.
You know, what he's done, it's like a slap in the face for his dad. His dad was an absolute warrior. I remember his dad well fighting, and he was an absolute warrior. And some of the fights he had will go down in boxing history as being some of the most savage fights ever. I don't think his dad ever got done for anything illegal. And
John Fury gets right to the heart of what makes boxing so dangerous. His stance is simple. If Conor Benn cheated, the punishment must be harsh and definitive. Fury stresses fairness, innocent until proven guilty. But he also makes it clear that in a sport where lives are on the line, there's no room for errors like this. Boxing is too deadly for shortcuts or excuses.
If Conor Benn's been using, ban the fucker. Ban him. Because it's a dangerous sport. Whatever they do, whatever they don't. But I'm having no opinion on it at all. You know, a man's...
Frank Warren doesn't sugarcoat anything. Conor Benn's failed tests aren't whispers. They're on record. Undeniable. Warren pushes for swift action, reminding everyone that this situation is bigger than one fighter's future. The integrity of the rematch is hanging by a thread, and the more this drags on, the worse the backlash becomes. Every passing day invites even more scrutiny.
The Conor failed a drug test. That is a fact. It's not been denied anywhere. There's lots of talk about, let's see how this works out, and, he's entitled to get his day and so forth. Well, it should be dealt with very...
Johnny Nelson makes the message crystal clear. Drugs don't make champions. They expose pretenders. Conor Benn's repeated test failures prove that shortcuts can't replace skill, timing, or true fight IQ. Nelson's criticism quietly cuts deep, reminding everyone that real fighters are defined by integrity, not cheating.
I always say, it don't matter what drugs you take. It doesn't make you a better fighter. It might make you stronger, might make you fair. It doesn't make you a better fighter. That's proof. So until more news comes out...
Gareth A. Davies breaks down the numbers, revealing the magnitude of Conor Benn's alleged substance use. Supplements. A figure that points to a pattern. Not a one-time error. Davies presents it clinically, but the reality is harsh. Benn's actions put both his reputation and the credibility of the rematch at serious risk.
This morning, I'm just slowly coming up. One of my colleagues, Jeremy Wilson's doing it for the Telegraph. He's the drugs expert or the doping expert on the desk, and I think there was something like 14 supplements that he was.
Lee McAllister tries to defend Conor, but the truth is harsh. 3 failed drug tests turn his fit and strong defense into a punchline. Benn has turned his career into a spectacle, humiliating himself, tarnishing his father's legacy, and putting Eddie Hearn through public frustration, saying he didn't need it, only makes him look out of touch. Each failure adds to the ridicule. Conor isn't just in trouble, he's mocking himself. The fans and every promoter who trusted him. What looks like youthful mistakes is actually career sabotage, and the boxing world isn't buying it.
Personally, I do not think that Conor Benn would have intensely peak steroids. And that's just my opinion. He's a young, fit, strong guy. I do not see why he would need to do that. And even moving up weight, I don't see why he would need to do that. He walks about that way anyway. But for me, the key is, like I say, I feel sorry for Eddie Hearn.
Duke McKenzie doesn't hold back. Conor's bold, "I'll knock him out." Bravado isn't confidence. It's laughable. His repeated failures and careless attitude now look like self-sabotage. Benn is stumbling both in and out of the ring, overestimating his power while underestimating opponents. Every missed punch reminds everyone he's not the warrior his father was. He's humiliated himself before the rematch, and the boxing world is watching, shaking its head. His own hype has backfired, turning him into a cautionary tale of ego, entitlement, and terrible timing.
Conor Benn's not a massive puncher, not even at welterweight. So really, he's kind of mugged himself off a little bit by saying, "I'm going to knock this guy out." He didn't give Eubank enough respect. Like I say, he was throwing shots at several points in that fight, and he wasn't even looking where they were going. It was just like head down, just winging the shots over.
Johnny Nelson hits Conor where it hurts. 3 failed tests won't make Benn smart, a champion, or even respectable. Drugs may boost strength, but they can't fix sloppy technique, poor timing, or weak fight IQ, all of which Benn shows in spades. Each positive test now reads like a comedy of errors. He's humiliating himself in front of fans and professionals alike. An analyst can't help but mock him. The lesson is clear. Chemistry can't replace skill, and Benn is proving it spectacularly.
Drugs don't make you a better fighter. Drugs may make you a little stronger, may make you a little, give you a bit more energy, but it don't make you technically smart. It doesn't give you all of that, you know. So those drug cheats that do it purposely, you got to remember, you know, why are you doing it? What difference is it going to make? It's going to make you like a boxing Einstein.
Carl Frampton doesn't mince words. Conor Benn's repeated failures aren't just embarrassing, they're reckless and dangerously irresponsible. In a sport where one punch can change everything, using drugs isn't just a career mistake, it's risking lives. 3 failed tests and Benn's legacy is already in ruins before the rematch. Frampton is blunt. Lifetime bans aren't exaggeration. They're the minimum for negligence this severe. Benn's actions read as arrogance mixed with carelessness, a self-inflicted humiliation, and a stark reminder that boxing doesn't forgive shortcuts.
Profile guys getting caught, and it's just horrible. Genuinely, and I know you work out saying, without going fucking fully mental here, I just believe if you're caught with any performance-enhancing drug, you should be banned.
Dave Coldwell doesn't hold back. Conor Benn's 3rd positive test turns him into a figure of ridicule, a fighter repeatedly failing basic integrity checks. Just as the rematch looms, Coldwell points out the tension. Instinct screams betrayal and incompetence, but facts still matter. Still, 3 failures paint a humiliating picture. Benn is mocking himself, making excuses meaningless, and leaving everyone stunned at how someone with his talent could blow such a high-profile chance. In boxing, reputation is everything, and Benn is burning his in real time.
Fucking hell. Cheating bastard.
Yeah.
You know, that's the initial reaction. Whether it's a first fail or a third fail, that's the initial reaction. Your gut reaction is, but then obviously we don't know what he's failed for yet, and we don't know what it is. But then when it's somebody that's failed 3 times, or this is the third adverse reaction.
Don Charles points the finger directly at Conor Benn. In a sport where one mistake can cost lives, 3 failed drug tests aren't just errors. They're reckless negligence. Benn has turned what should have been a high-profile rematch into a circus, leaving fans, promoters, and fellow fighters frustrated. Charles doesn't hold back. While governing bodies share some blame for weak enforcement, the focus is squarely on Benn. His repeated failures mock the integrity of boxing, putting his career, his father's legacy, and Eddie Hearn's promotion at risk. Yet, Benn seems more interested in excuses than accountability. This is a public humiliation that will follow him for years, a warning. That talent alone can't save you when you fail the basic tests of honor and professionalism.
Drugs, I mean, this is very unforgiving. You can't, I'm sorry, provided he's been found, it's 100% that those substances were found in his system. It's unforgiving. And you know what? I blame the governing bodies because I don't believe that they imposing heavy enough.
Mackenzie doesn't hold back. Conor Benn's self-inflicted downfall is now undeniable. Returning his license feels like a silent confession, a tacit admission of repeated mistakes. Claims of contamination now sound absurd. 2 strikes, and accountability is unavoidable. This isn't a simple career hiccup. It's a spectacular collapse in front of fans, promoters, and the global boxing community. What should have been a milestone rematch has become a masterclass in humiliation. Mackenzie highlights the stark contrast between talent and responsibility. Skill alone cannot erase recklessness. The hype is gone, replaced by disbelief, scorn, and preventable shame. Benn's legacy is teetering, and Mackenzie's verdict is clear. License revoked, respect lost, and a career tarnished.
Now, the fact that he's given back his license to the British Boxing Board of Control, who in my opinion are the best governing body in the world, bar none, it's kind of like a proof of admission, certainly. And for him to do what he's done, you know, they're talking about contamination, right? So if you've done it once, then you got caught out, then you do it again. It can't be contamination, can it? Because he's been caught twice for doing the same thing. So if it was me, take his license.
Adam Catterall highlights the serious safety risks from Conor Benn's repeated failures. This isn't just an embarrassment, it's a dangerous precedent. Showing up for the rematch under suspicion is reckless, putting paychecks above opponents' safety and the integrity of the sport. Benn's actions force governing bodies into crisis mode, scrambling to enforce rules that should have been respected. Every failed test is a ticking time bomb, and Benn has become the epicenter. Catterall stresses the urgency. This isn't hypothetical. It's real-world danger, magnified by negligence. His repeated mistakes now overshadow his talent, turning his career into a cautionary tale of wasted skill, lost respect,